Yes, Lagos, this is the time to get talking here on Marketplace and Smooth 98.1. My name is Joy Oreye, and Mondays we get into the business side of things, as you know. So on the Marketplace today, we will be looking at the field of engineering. It is such an expansive place to be in. Today, however, we'll be talking about renewable energy as well as youth in this kind of discipline. And thankfully, I have a guest with me in the studio who's going to be shedding insights. Great one, by the way. I have Engineer Precious Adeho. He is the founder of Institute of Industrial Development. Good evening. Glad to have you with me in the studio.
Thank you so much, Joy. It's good to have you around, and thank you for having me in your studio today.
Awesome stuff. Lagos, you know that this conversation is not just about us in the studio. You have questions, you have contributions, you have observations. Hey, share them with us. 0911 999 Love to hear from you. Whatever contributions, questions, and anything interesting you'd like to share regarding engineering. Uh, if 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 all things were equal, um, I guess maybe this will be another space that I would have loved to dabble in. But
So what happened?
I didn't do the sciences. I escaped to where I'm comfortable. But they said you should test others so you can figure out if you're that as good as you
Yeah.
say you are. Sometimes be creative with your hands. So, hey.
Yeah.
We'll when we get to maybe off off camera, we'll talk about all that once.
Okay.
But yes, let's talk about Nigeria and engineering space as well as renewable energy. I'd just like to ask and start here, right? First off, how do you see Nigeria and its youth in the engineering sphere? How are we faring so far? Let's even start with how are we faring so far?
All right, Joy. Thank you so much for once again for having me. And just a bit about my background. I read mechanical engineering from
Okay, cool.
the Institute of Management and Technology IMT in Enugu. I did the production option. Started my career from Nigerian breweries, put in about 10 years in Nigerian breweries.
Interesting.
Left Nigerian breweries, joined an American company
Okay.
called Quantum Global Solution. I put in about 4 years with them. Then in 2015, I said, okay, you know what? You've been doing this for some time now. Why don't you start your own thing? So at a large extent, I have hands-on because I grew from the rank and file, from
Right.
craft trainee to technical operator to mechanical technician before I became an engineer. And so to a large extent,
Your
so
hands on.
yeah,
It's not that somebody's just say, oh no, I went to school. I only did the theoretical part. I didn't do the practical.
yeah,
It is theory
yeah.
and practical all in one. Awesome.
So if you look at the engineering space
Right.
right now, you can say that we have a huge shortage.
Oh,
So if you look at the number of students who gain admission into tertiary institution,
okay.
who are willing to actually take up engineering profession in a
Mhm.
sense, there's a huge shortage in that very space compared to when I
Ooh.
was in school, when I was growing up. We're all looking forward to, study
Electrical
engineering. You want to do
engineering.
electrical, do mechanical. You see the guys fixing the motorbike. You want to lay your hands on it. So there is this enthusiasm there that you see young people like myself who want to, if I, my dad was a motorbike, and I
Okay.
always enjoy my dad, getting spanners,
Just get it.
doing everything. So that actually one of the things that spoiled me. But when you look at now, there are quite a lot of young people right now. Everybody want to go into tech. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Everybody want to build up. So there is a huge shortage of those who want to study the hands-on. But whether you like it or not, Nigeria needs food. Nigeria needs the hospital to work, and so you need people. You need people to actually finding that question and say, okay, we want to study engineering because
Right.
who is going to operate the industries? You understand the oil and gas that we have reached, the mining is there, that the gold and the rest of. So we need people who have hands-on. You understand
To
to actually
understand
yes to actually
machinery, to be able to
yes
produce what we
yes. So
need.
but there's a huge shortage right now. You can even look at it from the area of jam and even what does that mean, Polytechnic? There's always the curve is going down every now. Everybody wants to do tech.
You can still do tech, but it's not that you there's so many interesting spaces within the engineering space. But you know what? Let me even ask, what would you say is behind this? Do you think what how can we encourage young ones who are trying to get into the university now to study any course, and then how do you not make them get into the engineering bit? Because you said there's a downward spiral.
Yeah.
So how do you get them interested enough to want to get back into that space if when they say tech is the new oil?
Yeah.
How is it through their parents? Or is there some school? Is there some re-education that they need to get into to get back on track?
So I think this is a collective one, you understand, because whether you like it or not,
Right.
when a child is from maybe the nursery and the primary school, you know, before you go into the higher institution, you understand. So first and foremost, parent has a lot of role to play in this space, you understand. Beyond the parent as well too, we must, so the government equally have a very huge role to play to actually make that space as enticing as it is, you understand. I was privileged to be in, so I joined a body called AHK to Germany in October, trying to understand the apprenticeship platform that the German use in training their people. Because for us, beyond just studying engineering, I'm looking forward to a platform whereby a guy who studied engineering in Nigeria, either in Polytechnic, university, can start side by side with anybody around the world.
Right.
So if you look at how the government in Germany make it as attractive as possible.
Okay.
So the government have a role to play as well, creating that orientation, understand, you know, from primary school, from we know when we're in secondary school, from GSN, GSO2, they make integrated science.
Vocational
yeah.
aptitude and all that.
So yeah. So yes, you make it you make it enticing. Let these young people see that, oh, I want to do this. See the beauty of seeing maybe a robot walking and say, I want to lay my hands.
I know I tried something at that. So yes.
You know, putting that consciousness on young people, say, oh, see a car moving and say, what is the brain behind this car? I want to know how the tires work, how the combustion engine works, you understand? So there's a huge work. So the parents need to play their own role, encourage the children as well, because we have seen parents as well.
Yeah, we're not
saying, you know what? There's so many guys who study engineering, they don't have job. I know, guess what? There are quite a lot of engineering. I have my colleagues that we graduate together who study mechanical, who work in the bank. So
mechanical engineering.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have a lot of because there are no jobs. So the cycle go back. So if I take many years studying in the higher institution, and when I'm out of school, there is no job, you understand, then it becomes one of the fittest. What do? I have to follow the master hierarchy of needs. I must eat. I must have shelter. So there's a huge work that every one of us. So parent has their role to play. The government has their role to play. The system on its own has a role to play.
That's a lot of things to put in place. Parents, teachers, the governments, even the students themselves have to be interested enough to even want to. Because even if you have everything prepared for you and you're not interested, there's no way that that could be productive. But let's even talk about STEM, because that's the first step of even getting into this whole that's science, technology, engineering, math. You need tools to be able to be excited. These tools, if we're being honest, they're not cheap. How do we even get these tools at a scale to develop the students who want to be in the space?
So this is really a big stuff. So and that is one of the reasons why when I started I run a full-fledged engineering company, and the company is it's going to be 11 years, February 2nd. You understand? And we serve both the food and beverage, oil and gas. You understand? So in 2017, I told myself, okay, so now I put it for some time.
Mm-hmm.
How do we even, and that's where we started the institute. So it
Yeah.
actually started from ESSAC. It's called Youth Effectiveness Solution and Skill Acquisition Center. So
Okay.
after some time, we changed the name again to ETOPASA Energy, so Engineering and Technology Against Poverty in Africa. But when I brought some board of trustees into this, I say, we need
It
to
has to be
reshape
more
it more
refined.
more refined. You understand? And that is why it is critical that we understand that um, the STEM space. So the way we do STEM in Nigeria
Mm-hmm.
is quite really um, if you compare an average child, you understand that does STEM, you understand the normal sciences, the normal there's a big difference. So we take a school right now. The school is in close to Oshodi. It's called Crystal Ball Primary School. So that's one of the pilot where we're doing, as in doing robotics with them. Now, when I traveled to the US last year, I came with a smart circuit. For us in engineering, when it comes to electricity, one of the first things you see is V equals IR. You understand? Voltage equals current, temperature. Now,
Okay.
all through the time while I was in my primary, my secondary school, and even in my high institution, there were never ways where I actually really practiced it. It was when started going to 200 level, and then you now begin to do it. But this has gone beyond that. So
Right.
I want to teach where I was coming from the US last year. It's called
Right.
Smart Circuit, and it has almost about 700 projects that little children within JS1, JS2 can actually practice those few things. The V equals IR. What is the voltage? You get a battery that will give you the voltage. And from the voltage, so what is so you have a resistor. And then you can actually calculate rather than just doing the theory we do and say, oh, you have a 3 volts, you have current, calculate the resistance, and the children will say, what is the resistance? You don't even know what resistance until when you go into so STEM is more deeper now in a stand. So if we in Nigeria really need to actually practice STEM, we must have modern gadgets. They are not cheap, we know, but at the same time as well, too, we can actually take a lot of stuff to get them maybe from sponsorship from government body because the industry needs Nigeria's STEM education to grow. We must have a pool of feeding from the primary, secondary. So taking STEM from that beginning stage is very critical. We need to begin to look towards whether low income school, whether mid income school, in a stand, or even the high income school, we must try to get those gadgets that can position our children. They can see this thing. This thing is not rocket science. We are smart people. The only challenge we have is that we do not have those gadgets to actually do this.
Well, we will still be talking about how we can get those gadgets because if we do not get them, how then will we be able to impact the youth who want to get into the space? We'll talk about that and renewable energy. That is the new oil, if you know. But we'll talk about that on the other side of this quick breather. Lagos, you don't want to move more. So, still talking about everything engineering, if you know this. Just a quick breather and then we'll get back in.
MTN Cloud, you experience near instant operations thanks to lower latency, convenient billing with flexible now pay, and 100% data sovereignty, keeping you compliant. Visit cloud.mtn.ng today and get the cloud built for you. MTN, what are we doing today? Celebrating the second Sims TCL Partnership Anniversary Promo, starting from January 26th to 31st, 2026. Enjoy up to 30% discount on all TCL products like televisions, air conditioners, refrigerators, and freezers, washing machines, and lots more. Visit any Sims Digital Center at Cathy Street, Alausa, Allen, Ikeja City Mall, or Mole, Oba. Apple Junction, Aguda, Surulere, Victoria Island, and Ajah. Or shop online at www.simsng.com. For more details, call 9010-376-670 or 7000-307-467. Terms and conditions apply. Sims Digital Centers for the right combination of quality and price. Accessible, informed, connected. Our approach growth dedicated to the market.
All right, Lagos, this is Marketplace here on Smooth 98.1. And today on the Marketplace, we are taking a look at the field of engineering and exploring new horizons, especially where renewable energy is concerned. And I have with me Engineer Precious Adeho. He's the founder, Institute of Industrial Development, and he's been giving great insight as to the things we need to bear in mind. Do you even know what voltage is? As an engineering student, do you have hands-on activities? Do you even know how to find things? Well, that and more is what Engineer Precious is giving us insight into. He gets them, but you do even understand what it is without having the equipment that will actually help you enhance the knowledge that you have. Well, now let's get back into the conversation because earlier we were talking about how you mentioned how you traveled, you brought back a circuit box. I'm guessing this has helped you in your institute to help children want to expand their knowledge. And this is not just for those in tertiary institutions.
It's the basic. Yeah.
So if a child who wants to learn the basics gets access to the sky is their stepping stone, more or less. So I know your institute is also into renewables. Help us walk through that. Tell us more about that.
Okay, so basically, today, if we look at how everywhere is going green, you understand, the use of fossil fuel is actually going almost like extinct, looking at the carbon footprints and everything that's happening around the world. And basically, Nigeria on its own as well as really key into the stuff. One of the things I don't really like, I hate that noise. Yes, I hate that noise. So there's even a funny one. There was a time one of my where I was living before. This guy who had this little, the one they call a past my neighbor.
Oh, those generators.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
and
God.
that thing is making real noise. You understand?
It is noise.
Yeah. So this guy he normally owns on Saturday. So what I did was to discuss with my colleague. This thing is making a lot of noise. So we need to help this guy. So we got money and brought a mechanic and knocked the guys on a Saturday morning and said, we want to fix this thing. You understand? So to save us the trouble of those noise.
Okay.
Now, but when you live right now and you're using the solar panel, you understand, there is no noise, you feel that stuff. Or maybe you have this troublesome neighbor. Once they take like in the middle of the night and the guy puts on the gen, you can't sleep. God help you have a newborn baby, you understand? So make it worse. So the country is actually really key into renewable energy. A lot of industry right now are keen into it, and they are saving quite a yes, CapEx wise, when you're starting initial, it's quite high, you understand. But it makes things easy for you when you spread the cost across board. Let's say 3-4 years, you will see that you're making quite low. In our office in Acacia, you understand, we don't use anything, Jen, you understand. So even so, it has actually helped us because when I run the CapEx cost, sometime in 2020, for about 3 months, the amount we spend in buying fuel is quite expensive compared to what we have, you understand. So people are keen into it right now. Initial cost is expensive, but if you spend it at the end of the day, you understand, you can see you are saving quite a lot of cost. So many industry, the big names, they are all keen into renewable energy, you understand. going green. You understand? Yes, you know, if you have a big, I got to Enugu and I got to one of the big multinational producing beer. I don't want to sing their praise here. You understand?
You sound big.
So and I got to their renewable farm, and it was massive. It was massive, massive place, you understand? And they said this plant actually helped that very plant in Enugu to actually run. So imagine the cost saving of which they are saving. They're using gas, and they're using the solar panel, and they're backing up with gas. So you can see the cost of production is actually so, and that is one way to actually go. You know, the carbon footprint is
being reduced,
yeah, be reduced drastically.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that is one key area to go into. Seriously, yeah.
So in the foreseeable future,
Yeah.
because I know that well, to certain crimes they've already started eradicating your regular vehicles.
Yeah.
So they've all started using
EVs, yeah.
electric vehicles. One country that I know that has been on top of this is China.
Yeah.
Oh my days, China is doing a lot.
Amazing in
I
that area.
saw one recently. It's you don't even need you don't even need to drive if you want to. What you need to do is just snap your finger, whatever it is, and you're off.
Yep.
If you're even parked in a very tight corner, all you need to do is you have your key fob.
Yep.
Just activate it. It comes out
Sure.
and waits for you. You get in and off you go.
Yep.
Well, this is something that they'll say, oh, back then we'll say, oh, it's Back to the Future. If you remember the movie Back to the Future, you were thinking that these were things we would never be able to see.
It's here. It's here now. Yeah.
However, now it is here. Some states like Anambra and Lagos have all started introducing electric vehicles.
Yeah.
So, we've seen them. What's your view though with regards to e-vehicles?
Okay, so that is an interesting area, you understand, and it's taking quite a lot of space right now. But when you look at it in the context of Nigeria, we've normally
bought into
it seriously, and there are quite a lot of factors that you can actually look into it. And one of the factors you can talk about is basically one which is the unstable level of electricity in Nigeria, you understand. But it's shocking sometimes that we even export electricity, but we don't even have enough. So sometimes you begin to
don't feel like that to hear that thing, but it is
yeah. So we've not really we don't have the big infrastructure right now. I was telling my colleague when we were coming, you understand, some of the EV, my cousin in the UK, you know, one of the very posh car, you understand, it was EV, and you know, and it was driving and it failed, you understand. So the company to come take it back. Now, imagine if it's Nigeria, we don't even have the facility. How many EV charging stations do we have?
In Lagos, I can only, at least that I can count of, I've only seen about 5.
Yeah.
That I'm aware
Yeah.
of. In certain areas as well.
Yes.
I have to be in certain areas. It's not easily accessible.
Yeah. So now, because there are no charging points, so it becomes difficult because you know Lagos is densely populated. You understand now. So if you have a lot of EV vehicles and you are not enough charging, you've seen just 4. I've seen one in a very hideout area in one of the hotels in Ikeja, a good hotel as well too. You understand? They have just only one. So and you can only charge that. Now, imagine I'm running on solar panel and I have an EV vehicle.
Yes.
And even the one I have, I'm able to light up my house. And I want to charge. So that's where the big challenge is. Okay. And there's the fear, the installation of this charging point from point to point. So if I'm driving now and my village party be my case fire, and it is tough. How do I? So these are some of the challenges that we're having that has make the acceptability of it. But good enough, there are quite a lot of smaller EV bikes, EV they use for logistics right now.
Right.
Those are quite easy. So, and I must say this: the earlier we begin to accept this, the better for us. So a lot of people have a lot of role to play. The government have a role to play in this video. Private sector have a role to play as well to ensure that we have this charity point because and also when we now have a stable electricity, it becomes easy for us to if I have my EV car and I in my house, so we see some churches even in the UK. If you're coming to church, you can park your EV car. That's part of one of the unique selling point people use. It even brings people to church. So you see that you have an EV, so you go to the church, plug your vehicle, and you go in.
Go in.
So so it is a collective effort. We need the private sector to actually, government can't do everything. Let's not say that. Yes. So private sector investor need to equally come into the very place, look at the business model and see where areas we can actually come into it because it's going to really help us seriously. And of a truth, if we get that, then it's going to drive costs down seriously. So we really need to look at that from the individual perspective, private investor, and the government to play. The government is trying to play their role as well. Looking at, like you said, Anambra State, I saw equally the Kosharis man having a partnership with the governor of Abia State. Yeah, so government is playing their own role as well. What I think we need more now is private sector individual to look at that very area and see how we can all join forces to make it work.
It's a collective partnership for electricity, electric vehicles, for us to have sustainable energy and all that, and ride on that wave as well. But before I let you go, there's this elephant in the room that when it comes to electrical or engineering in its entirety, it's usually seen as a man's field. Where do you see girls and women in this field?
That's a big one. While I was in school, my class we were about 414 in mechanical engineering.
Okay.
We have only 3 girls.
Dang.
So, but I will shock you. I will shock you. I was in Mercedes Benz in October in Germany with the delegation I went to AHK. In Mercedes, in a sense, BMW, in a sense. In the assembly hall, there are only 2 guys. Every other of the technicians are females.
Awesome.
So there is this in Nigeria. So there's a lot of reorientation. Okay. Parents need to let their female daughters know it is not a man's world. It is not a man's field. You understand? They can actually participate in that place. So for us in the Institute of Development, we have a project called the Girls in Engineering. Awesome. Where we see that, you understand, so we look at female, we want to encourage the female to take up, that space. Okay. And that is why we try even in the program that we do when we go to primary school, we make them understand it is not a man's field, it's both male and female. I've seen quite a lot of female also. I have a friend who is an automation engineer. You understand? You understand? In fact, I met her in Elisha. When I saw her, I said, look, she was asking, you need to teach. I said, I'm going to take time to teach you because I want to do this very stuff. You understand? So we need parents have a role to play. Encourage their female children. Let them understand that it is not a man's role. They can actually play that very role. When we come for the PTA meeting, in the same, let schools actually talk to the parents for their girls to actually participate in that very in space, and also as well to the government to put some incentive, to make you understand. So that is one of the things that can actually make females, you understand, to begin to want to do that. You hardly even see ladies. So when I see the lady mechanics, what is excited? Yes.
Trust me, they have more clientele than the men.
Yes.
All right, let me take a few messages before we wrap up tonight. Good evening, Gilbert Musa. Says, my concern about renewable components in Nigeria is how do we differentiate or determine genuine components from fake components? And as we speak, the inverter battery in Lagos has a mix of has a mix of genuine and fake, just as we have. See this whole this drama that comes with fake things and the original components. That I believe will be with the Standard Organization of Nigeria.
Exactly.
There is so much those who are buying and those we have lots to work on. But thank you so much for bringing that to the fore. But I believe that actually lies in the hand of the government and the Standard Organization of Nigeria. Jay, thank you so much for your thoughts. I'm sure that you've had a nice time. But before I let you go, for anyone who's listening and is thinking, okay, he said girls can also join in. How can they tap into this? Your social media handle that they can reach out to you, ask you, in case maybe schools have programs they would like you to participate in and all that. So what is the social media handle that they can reach out to you and take it up from there?
Okay, so social media is on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn is the at IN. Oh, 1 minute. Awesome.
Okay.
So it's INI development, that is the Institute of International Development. So in INI development at all of our social media, all platforms. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram is INI development in the sun on all platforms in the sun. And apart from that as well, too, we have a program that we do every year that is called the International Youth Day. So we celebrate that every year where we have a training before that very period. In the sun, most of the training are free of charge. Just follow us on our social media platform and you get all the information that you need to use. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Engineer Precious, for all that insight. It's been an exciting time. Lagos, if I were you, I will go and check it out right now. Anyone who's interested, especially female schools, you know what to do. Reach out and get all the insights that you need going. Well, that's the much you can take today on the marketplace. It's been such an exciting conversation. Marketplace comes your way every Monday at 5:15. But so much in store for you. How are you? I would have moved a muscle. Stay glued to your radio. Smooth 98.1.